In this video, we are going to go over how to create employee labor schedules inside of Crow's Nest. The schedule form is found by going to Settings and then choosing Schedules. You can add a new schedule by right-clicking the list of schedules and choosing Add. And let's go ahead and create a new schedule. We'll make this schedule number 1 and we'll call it Day Shift and press OK. The next step would be to define the time periods for this scheduled day shift. There are two ways to add time periods to a schedule. The first would be to come to the Periods tab, right-click in the gray, choose Add, and then go ahead and use the drop-down to choose the day you want, and then you can manually enter in the start time and the end time. The second way to add a time period is to left-click and drag your mouse over to where you want the time period to end. So in this case, I want to add Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I will let go. You can see I didn't drag it all the way over to the 5, so we left a half hour off. So I'm just going to left click and drag the rest of the way over. And now you can see up in the periods that I have Tuesday through Saturday actually. I grabbed an extra day, 8 through 5. So if I want to remove Saturday, I could just right click and choose delete. I could also right click and hold and drag down here and let go, and it will remove that time period. For each time period we've added, we need to add a numeric link to a shift for this schedule. So I'm just going to come up here, we'll just start with Monday and go down. So Monday will be shift 1, Tuesday shift 2, and so forth. Okay, then we can go ahead and define when we should start to calculate overtime for these punches. So if you calculate overtime by the day, or you can enter that in here if you want to calculate it by each individual shift. In my case, I'm only going to calculate overtime when we go over 40 for the week. So I'm just going to put in 40. And then as soon as we get over 40 and we're on the day shift, it will start to calculate those labor time over 40 as overtime. Now let's talk about breaks. This is what you can name the break, what it'll appear on the time clock. So by default, they're just going to be called paid break and unpaid break, but we could actually rename these so they'll show up differently on the time clock. So let's call our paid break a coffee break, and let's call our unpaid break a lunch break. And then let's go ahead and define when these breaks will occur. So we're going to go to the Breaks tab, and we're going to right-click and choose Add. And let's say that we want to have a break on Monday. We'll define our lunch break, and it will be Monday 12 p.m. to 1. So we're just going to put in, the duration's always in minutes. So for an hour, we're going to put in 60 minutes. And you'll see down here that now we have a red section showing that we have a break on Monday. To go ahead and copy that same break to the rest of the schedule, we can just right-click, choose Duplicate, and then click the dates that we want to extend this break to. And then hit OK. The first thing we need to do with our schedule is we need to assign some employees to that schedule. So if you go to an employee record and you go to the Labor tab, you'll see the schedule here. If we go ahead and click on None, we can choose this new schedule we created, Day Shift. Now we've added this employee to that schedule. So now let's go ahead and open up our time clock, and we will clock in as this employee, happens to be me, and we'll go ahead and make some time punches now that we're on this schedule. So I'm just going to make a couple here. Okay, so over here in the time clock form, I can see some information about those time punches we just created. I can see what shift they were on, so shift 3. And if we pull up our schedule here again, we can see shift 3. Today's a Wednesday, so this is on shift 3. You can see my shift start time is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that's the same thing I have here in my schedule. And we can also see that we don't have any extra time here, and that's because I clocked in during my schedule. I didn't clock in early or late. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and edit a couple of these punches. So let's say that this first punch, we came in this morning at 7:50 a.m. Maybe we clocked out at 10:31 a.m. And then if I look at my shift here, I'm going to see that now I do have an early clock in of 10 minutes, and I have an extra time of 10 minutes because I clocked in 10 minutes before my scheduled start time. Okay, and then let's say that we made another punch from at 10:31, and then we came back and we worked until the end of the day. So let's say we worked till 5:31 p.m. and then we went home. Okay, now if we look, we can see that we clocked out 10 minutes, 31 minutes late, because we're supposed to clock out at 5 and we clocked out at 5:31. So we have extra time of 31 minutes. And then I'm just going to go ahead and delete this last record. Okay, so just to reiterate what this extra time is doing, we've told it that we can work 8 to 5. We actually worked more than that. We actually worked 9 hours and 41 minutes. But because we're not allowing extra time, we are holding off this 41 minutes from the labor record. If we go ahead and say, yes, we're going to allow extra time for these, it's going to get added to the labor record. So we're going to go ahead and allow that extra 10 minutes, an extra 31 minutes. We'll refresh the screen. We can now see that we have 9 hours and 41 minutes on this labor record. But that's pretty much what you need to get started with schedules. If you're interested in the rounding features of schedules, look for another video in the future. I'm going to do a separate video just on rounding.